Today, 100 different animals from across the world will compete in various complex and challenging races to fight for an ultimate prize, with impossible puzzles and obstacles to figure out, unique abilities each animal will show to get through the race. I had a roller coaster of emotions making this video that will take place in not one but 4 uniquely challenging races. And which of these challenges will we visit as we look at our first contestants? Cream the Puff and Jam the Donut, a pair of proboscis monkey partners prepping for the race in a very questionable way. A race that is called the Climb, which is one of 3 challenges that our animals will have to race across before competing in the final arena. This is the first race that will test the ultimate climbing abilities of our first roster of animal contestants. But before I show you the course, let's introduce you to the other racers. We have the snow leopard Lolpi, a careful feline unlike the more confident monkeys like the gibbons and siamangs who think they can fly through this race. Sneakily chomping food down for energy are the sly lemurs looking to weasel their way to victory, if not stopped by our bigger primates like the brown tank of an orangutan Domi, and the western lowland gorilla with a big display of ego. Very big display actually. Each animal here has prepared their own clever plans to win. But wait, let me first show you the race. Welcome to the Climb, the first of 3 very hard race courses I made to see which of my animals can qualify for the final arena. That last arena has a lot up its sleeves and the crown for the ultimate prize. But this one starts off difficult, with a complex mess of platforms and logs to solve, designed to make them lose their sense of direction or fall to the ruins below. But also atop this disturbing maze, those who climb to the top and find this shiny rubber ducky will secure a spot in the final arena. The quick problem solvers will be guided into a choice of 2 paths to take. One a sturdier wooden structure of logs patterned unpredictably to the end. Another a test of patience and endurance in the form of strings of ropes. Which of these paths will lead our animals downward into a familiar environment? Trees. What climbing champion can't work itself around some trees, right? So I built an increasingly difficult ascent up to the canopy with a mixture of vines and logs where only the clever contestants will succeed, but then be unfortunate enough to come across the final stretch. A last march to victory with dangerously slippery vines stalked by a floor of deadly spikes. Observed by the ancestors of the climbing gods, you wouldn't want to fall, but jump forward to take and pass into the finish line. And we will be finding 6 winners for this race. With that said, this is Dinnerbone. With a bold, intimidating mask, this menacing mandrill carefully studies each of its competitors. But is there enough time for our racers to get all prepared when the gates of the race suddenly opens? The race begins, and our crowd is as wild as ever. Some shocked contestants charge forward. It's Cream the Puff, getting closer to sniff the course firsthand with a Lar Gibbon following along behind it. Then she lunges forward, sticking to the sturdier logs of the structure. Her tactic was clear. Rushing through thicker logs meant guaranteed stability and ensures that she doesn't fall over. The group of chimps I added, on the other hand, tried utilizing their jumping skills, but that only making it harder to navigate. Close call. A daring gibbon going straight to the middle looks focused. He knows something the others don't. The gibbon tiptoes ahead, but he doesn't seem too interested in going into the next part of the race. It drags itself upwards, ignoring the distracting rest points I designed into the course. He's got his eyes on the prize. Then, our first winner via ducky, one of the many other unique ways to win in our races today, and our gibbon stands atop the clouds to later compete in the final arena. Looking below, our clever proboscis monkey had just finished the first challenge, and hydrating for a bit to enter the next phase of the race. Behind her, her husband Jam the Donut had successfully followed her pheromones trail, alongside another gibbon who's been low-key stalking her. Okay bro, maybe this is not the time to. Anyways, most animals are still stuck behind, either lost their sense of direction and circling back, or climbing up for high ground just to find a horizon of more messy wood and logs. Not for our cats though. This is Jumpy, a Bengal tiger which is notoriously assassins of the rainforest, proven by its ability to sneak up past the wooden mess and here. Also Lolpi made it too, but that didn't stop our gibbons who hesitated and almost fell into the water below. They'll need to focus, not like our proboscis monkeys who had lived around ropes their whole lives in Indonesian environments. Little did she know the next challenge she would be suffering on for the longest time. Despite Lolpi's weight, the cat balances itself slowly across the thin ropes. Beside her, the still hesitating gibbon moves back and forth and whoa, somebody misses his wife. We got the big boys in the back still, working on it. Ort the sun bear is out here really just enjoying the sun, and Stilton the gorilla being in the back still holds a spirit of confidence. But a new set of contestants has just made it pass. Goji the fossa, jumping, and finally breathing clearer air as he steps into the second challenge alongside a tired siamang, a determined fossa that took no time to rest and attempted the strings of ropes together with Jumpy the tiger. Honestly, how are these ropes sustaining his weight? It looks like no one has tried the other course yet. Will we see it being dared before Lolpi figures out the final puzzle of this race? Unlike the other reckless racers, he's consistent, figuring out each step slowly just to make sure everything's right, and the first one to step into the final stretch. Jumping, but the stairs of hundreds of spikes will make anyone nervous. Slowly, Lolby inches forward, past the very slippery vines, and in the last final log to conquer, our cat approaches the light and walks past the finish line. And ignore this macaque, it glitched through the walls earlier. Our first winner is Lolby the snow leopard. Surprisingly, a well-calculated cat able to outperform even the monkeys. The throne and mounds of food will keep it satisfied until the arena. Congratulations. Oh look, it's Cheesy the raccoon. Still at the start. Let's take a look at everyone. Bread King, our resident red panda, is still figuring things out, like the others who are just as scared and confused in fear. With a few starting to creep up into the second challenge, our last gibbon had finally gotten past that fear and over the section of ropes. How will he face the next challenge? Wait, how did Jumpy the tiger get here? Well, who's surprised, the tiger absolutely demolished the tree course, made its way down the vines, and took a big old nap. Welcome to the winning seat in the arena. In fact, not long after, our gibbon will join its partner as it discovers the right path, plus its newfound courage over thin ropes and vines. I guess stalking other competitors can be a useful skill, unlike Stilton, who's taking the braver attempt, going as the first one to try out the Okay, guess not. Many are stuck in the last course of the race, and Dinnerbone is climbing up for his 5th time. When he finally finds his way, another is in a way more hectic battle. Almost falling each time, Jam the Donut has been going back and forth a few times. And as Dinnerbone quakes in his boots, passing the spike-filled vines, Cream the Puff now is the one following her husband's scent, safely making her way to the last stretch of the race and into victory, just in time with our mandrill, to meet her already passed out partner. Sleep well, winners. You will need it. One more winner, and many of the racers behind could take that spot, but one sneaky fella is just ahead. Goji. It ascends into the tree course for the first time, and ahead of him is nothing like the measly ropes he conquered. Fortunately, fossas are excellent climbers, and it held an amazing balance up the course. In the tricky puzzle, it smelled something fishy with the logs, so Goji snuck through the vines and made it through. Coming close to the finish, it seemed too good to be true, because it is. A chimpanzee charges forward. Its climbing abilities trumps the need to solve the puzzle. Speeding through the final course, ahead of him, the more careful Goji is too slow, meaning the chimp can now overtake him. Oh no, but is this chimp being too reckless? The fossa is right behind. Who will win the final spot? Goji the Fossa. Actually, the chimp got freaked out and ran back to the start. This little careful climber marks the final winner of the climb, concluding the first race for the climbers and the contestants that unfortunately didn't make it, which means even more increasingly difficult challenges ahead, and the next one is just about to start. This is the water race, a challenging track of difficult water-based obstacles for animals that can swim in Planet Zoo. First ahead of them is a set of drowned walls divided into 3. Each wall holds a different set of holes to go through, and logs designed to trouble our racers' swimming patterns after each one. Good diving and problem-solving skills will be useful here, but that's nothing if you don't have the strength to swim against the currents of the rapids, a simulation of nature's most dangerous water environments. Our racers will have to muster up the power to swim against the currents, navigate over both surface and submerged obstructions, all while avoiding the dangerous rocks. The lucky ones who can get through such a challenge will have to face the next terrifying challenge that I have in store for them, one that I'm sure not many will survive. If not tiring enough, the last march of this water race will test the endurance of our contestants with a geyser-filled channel that is exaggerated with meanders. A long and grueling final push, but a welcome to our mighty champions into glorious victory. The finish line just at the end of the river. In this race, we will only find 3 winners. To some of you, see if you can find the hidden ducky I've hidden. To those who don't care, let's come and meet our racers. Like Big Brock, the American alligator, who will be walking alongside our friends who will be flippering instead. Stuart, who's doing his thing. Look at the jiggle on that thing. And Saul the sea lion with a forehead that can probably read the future. Wait, Cheesy the raccoon, how did you get here? Anyways, next are the wave of penguins. The glamorous King Penguin Sarah, African penguins, and down to this little guy. This is Budgie. Their swimming capabilities will put them in an advantage, but not over our deadliest pair of platypuses, Tooper and Mimi, looking to sniff their way into victory. We have a few more contestants competing, but the gates of the race is about to open. The water race will commence. 3 winners, and quickly Oliver the Beaver and a capybara charges towards the waterline to get a head start for that winning spot, together with Mr. Lizard, who's just a bit curious. It didn't take long for others to catch along, as Pilot the Otter and Platypuses reached the first course. With the tactic of flapping and checking out the surface first, some took the more aggressive approach and dove down to swim towards the obstacles. Oliver the Beaver is on to the next part. As quick learners, Tooper and Mimi took a deep breath and caught along with the submerged beaver, figuring out that diving is the only way to go. These guys guy's disadvantage is not having large lung capacities to be underwater for too long, and the beaver uses this to get a head start. Are you guys going to do something? A bunch of them are being lazy right now, but don't worry as there will be a second phase of this race I haven't told you about yet. For now, our not so feathered ice birdies finally took to the waters. As natural swimmers, the logs are easy feats to swerve across. Our beaver at the back instead circles back after tiring itself out too early, leaving the newer, more energized racers like our caimans to catch up. But looky, at the end of the first course, the platypuses had waddled their way hugging the surface, and they'll be the first to challenge the rapids. A friendly African penguin just right behind them. The platypuses goes against the rapids. With consistent waddles of power, they move forward, but the power of the currents are just too rough. Cleverly, Tupper reached for the first thing that he sees, the broken down trees, both as a place to regain energy and a platform to propel himself ahead. Using his surroundings, it was just enough to reach calmer pockets of water at the edge. As Tupper waits for his wife, the Platies is able to make it past the rapids in her own weird way. The African penguin, on the other hand, isn't so lucky. Not able to fight the currents after rushing, of course goes back to the start to recollect itself. But maybe that's good for them, because the next course to conquer before the final swim is a toxic wasteland, a pool of radioactive poison polluted with open barrels placed strategically for our animals to bump into. Racers who spend too long in this section will be automatically eliminated from the toxins. Will any contestants even remerge after taking a dive here? Let's find out after we check on the back. It looks like the caimans seem to be lost, but not this chonky capybara. This is Logan. After a long time swishing over the first course, he's made it to the rapids. And who was that behind? Budgie, with his tiny flippers, made it past the first challenge too. They will now have to face the rapids, like this guy who has not really made any progress at all. But guess what? Others are coming along to struggle with him. Logan got crashed into the side by strong waves and is forced to retreat. Covered in scratches and injuries, he now has to rest, while the submarine birdies explore the underwater parts of the rapids. What the? How did you get a fish? With the race lasting a while at this point, many various different types of contestants have now reached the rapids. Those who's been tirelessly trying are now taking their well-needed break. Oh man, not you too, buddy. But not Budgie though. Oh, he's here to demolish the whole— Okay, never mind. At the lead, our platypuses are just finding passage past the toxic waters. Tupper is the first to do so, finally washing off the waste and pristine waters. They are now in the final stretch of this race, but this will not be an easy marathon. Any of the fellas in the back can catch up, but for now his wifey wife will cheer him on behind him. Wait, who is this? Pilot the Otter, a giant otter, master of the rivers, but surprisingly landing in a waterfall bank nearby instead. What seemed like a fail at the rapids was actually Pilot's clever little idea. Like its name, the otter flew over the rocks, evading the rapid's strongest and hardest currents yet. However, I don't think he wanted poison ooze on his fur. Clearly, he sensed something else. The smart otter crawled its way towards the hidden cave behind the rapids, and Pilot claiming the victory by ducky for the water race. Welcome to the final arena. Remember, the winner's journey will not end here yet, and Logan wants a piece of it. Still trying after every rest. Strong sheer will compared to the what's in that head of yours? Anyways, the determined racers kept trying and failing, while the platypuses, well, any second now, come on. Logan got pretty far, but many times the waves just got the best of him. Gasping for air each time, he is forced to go back once again. I'm telling you, the signs ain't lying. After a while, it's starting to feel like everyone lost hope. Will anyone actually win and take the last spot? Cheesy the raccoon finally going for a plunge, and most of them just too scared of the water. So nothing left to do than spice things up with the second phase of the water race, where I'll be blocking off the whole first part of the race and force all the lazy contestants, and motivated ones too, to go against the rapids, mixing everyone together for a messy upstream race. As every contestant gets transported over, a very intense battle of the rapids will happen very soon, with only one winner left. But first, there's something else about to start. Welcome to the sprint, number 3 of our races, and this one's going to be fun. Let me show you around. Immediately, racers here will be introduced with 2 options, a center path and clearly faster track to take, but each layered with increasingly sized small barriers to jump over. Those who won't take the leaps will have to pick one of each sides to solve. A simple trail, blocked out by a pattern of walls that is designed to slow down the more careful racers. That's because this race will only last for 3 minutes. Yes, a countdown will be following them through the next stage of this race, a randomized structure, leaving a few options to the racers. However, don't run too fast because the reckless could actually drop down into the water. Those who defeat both feats of athletic challenges will face our hardest challenge of this video, the Land of Temptations. Here, I placed a barrage of toys, resting grounds, treats, and even a winning ducky to convince and tempt them to stay, especially with this fruit jelly cake, a place that will consume all the time of the weak-minded, and only the strong-willed will climb upwards towards the pillars of victory to be faced with one final challenge, the Wall of Death. It's just a small wall, and past the finishing line to win a spot and glory of the last final arena race. Oh my god, who is excited? I know the crowd is. And it looks like the racers are even more pumped than me. There's a mixture of them ready for the next race. From the cautious Timberwolf Tanner, a group of emus all called Michael, a giant moose that's surprisingly very fast, a warthog, cougar, Eurasian lynx, more felines, more canines, big old herbivores eating some hay, down to even a kiwi with his little warrior struts. This is Sheriff Thice, charging alongside this very speedy tortoise Tan, and probably the most feared of them all, a champion of the arena, Atlas the lion. Will Atlas be fast enough to keep up even with the likes of the fastest land animal alive, Zihiat the cheetah? In the distance, the sprint race bells are about to ring, and the animals are electrified to dash towards the finish line. By the way, if any of these guys seem familiar, I did a qualifiers race stream to grab some of you guys to be the animals today, so subscribe to join the next one. But with that said, I'll set the countdown up, and there's nothing left to do than open the gates and charge. Many of our racers are not here to play around, and the jumps were nothing for our agile cats. Those confident in their speed took to rushing past the sides below, and many are already ahead in the competition. One cougar in particular in the front, recollecting himself not to fall for a bit, while Tanner and Jesse following right behind him, and of course the quick cheetah catching along. But Zihiat the cheetah had something else in mind, taking over the determined wolf for a bit, but Tanner is more fearless, chasing deep past the pillars and seeing the finish line, taking the glory of the first winning spot of this race. Not too long after, the hesitant cheetah finally took a spot for herself. Although disappointed being second, she's going to take revenge in the final arena later on. Makes sense for the courageous and the fastest to be the first winners, but sudden sounds of tiny taps breaks the silence. A kiwi bird, out of nowhere, claiming the third winning spot of the race. How did you beat the other strong contestants who are still struggling behind? I don't know, but Sheriff, welcome to the next race. Oh, the land of temptations. Our quickest head starters previously on the lead had been swooned by the warm hands of a nice bed. A Michael emu looked past this, charging past the course with not even a glimpse towards any of the goodies. Peeking through, and a flurry of birdie struts forward, this focused emu is able to be put into the bag of winners, both of them actually making it. But on the other side, time is ticking down. Many are ahead in the race, and some blocking the way. Totally behind, Tan the tortoise is fighting his own battles. You got this, buddy. I can't believe you're letting a tortoise beat you, Atlas. Shame. In the time crunch, many do end up making their way to the front, but sometimes you forget about everything going on when a 5-star animal experience is laid out all in front of you. The land of temptations actually had claimed almost all our racers right now, enjoying their life, playing with toys, relaxing, and honestly I had zero hope for another winner until a little dingo's curiosity got the better of him. But is there enough time? He moves forward but a bit too slow. At this rate he won't be able to make it. Coming across the corner, the clock of the race is dangerously close to ending. He sees the opportunity, but the wall of death might actually stop a racer from winning this time. Lucky for him, the dingo had a plan. An incredible jump. This little canine saved seconds that got him to the finish line just in the nick of time. His win in this race marks the final spot as the countdown closes, concluding the sprint for our other contenders. Whether it's luck or a perfectly timed master plan, you will now get a ticket to the final arena, which is just around the corner, and I've got something special to show you there. At the back, I honestly had high hopes for you, Atlas. You were a disappointment. Wait, no! Oh wait, you're fine. He's a sore loser, I guess. Swim your sorrows away, lion. Speaking of swimming, you haven't forgotten about the intense battle of the rapids, have you? Okay, maybe not so intense after all. In this phase, every previous racers are put to the start of the rapids to find only one winner left. Despite the problems transporting them all, the caimans and reptiles are already out exploring every inch of the depths, slowly testing the underwater currents before going too far, pushing bigger contestants like our sea lion to finally attempt the race. He cranked up his flippers and glides the currents with the help of a big old aerodynamic forehead. Despite being great underwater, as the volume of water pinches smaller to the end, this mighty water mammal couldn't break to the surface. Like the penguins who stood at the sidelines wasted, tired out after hours of trying. It's okay, just relax. But there is one who's attempted and failed the rapids since the start. Logan has been trying the rapids since before everyone else, and even now he keeps failing, trying again, and taken aback by the currents once more. Below, a gharial is slithering, and it looks like it wants more than a win. A victim? Will it bite others? Well, for Logan, swimming underwater is one thing he's trying to do. Yes, swimming back a lot, but trying something new each time. A sneaky cheesy who really shouldn't be Toby here tries cheating her way through rock hopping across the rapids. Will this raccoon catch up when Logan is now floating in calm waters at the end of the rapids? Come on, it's right there. A chunky beaver waddles behind, and that's enough to get the capybara to finally reach shore. Still scared at the water bank, the excited beaver finished as well and enters the toxic waters with full confidence. He dives down into the murky green, slowly getting lost inside and every now and then emerging for a quick poison-fumed breath until eventually the beaver does not emerge back up. Cheesy the raccoon on the other hand somehow making it to the end, jumping and traversing the supposedly impossible slippery rocks. For Cheesy, the next step is the poisonous pool, but someone is already ahead of her. Big boy Logan, attempting to swim over the green waters himself. Luckily for him, the hours of swimming had trained his rodent legs. This was nothing for him, and the brown furball is now on the final swim of this race. The statues and geysers look down on him. Will the tireless attempts, fails, and pain from the rapids finally pay off for this capybara? He swims forward, riddled with scars and scratches, and there is nothing more he wants than to win. Forward and forward again, but unfortunately, as Logan reaches the end of the final stretch, someone had secretly been sneaking up behind him. I'm totally kidding. Logan made it as the final winner to the race of the rapids and the whole water race. Everyone else is pretty much ways behind and taking their time. All the racers did an amazing job. But now, the ones that did better than everyone else in every single race so far will now enter the final arena. Welcome to the final arena, a battlefield where all our winners so far will fight for the title of Ultimate Planet Zoo Champion. This arena is encased by winding walls that create a maze-like path. Simple, but each corner holds out various different ways our animals can go around this challenge, like climbable structures, bodies of water, and more. These are feats that our animals have conquered today, and now have to play to their strengths. At the heart of the arena, a large hill towers upward, and our racers must climb this centerpiece to reach a golden rubber ducky at the top. All roads lead to Ducky. Only the first 3 to snatch the duckies here will claim their place as the final winners. But that's not all. You see, the contestants won't be alone in this arena. A deadly menace, killer on sight, disguised in a white feathery mess. The Chicken of Doom. A challenger, tasked to stop anyone from touching the elusive golden ducky. And whoever is unfortunate enough to touch these chickens will be eliminated from this arena. We will start with 3, but put in more and more Chicken of Dooms after every winner. And our racers are just coming into the arena. The dingo was the first to enter, and getting very close to the Chicken of Dooms. Zihiat on the other hand runs quickly to the other end of the arena to get away from them, slowly checking around corners after. Our emu and platypuses schlomping into the challenge too, but their eyes are on something else. A nice warm nesting bed together with the fossa and others. I mean, they're exhausted, and like a piece of the land of temptations, I designed special sleeping areas to lure tired racers to sleep and let our chickens creep up while they sleep. I am not evil, this is a social experiment. Anyways, Jumpy is taking a big old nap too, so we look into our cautious cheetah, jumping inside the heart of the arena to test the water, but a chicken is on post. She doesn't think it's worth it and runs away. Unfortunately, Jam the Donut, too greedy for the ducky, overlooked the chicken coming right at it and brushed against the Chicken of Doom. Did he touch it? Sorry, he did. The monkeys on the other hand, like Dinnerbone, chose to climb up and assess the arena from above, as it is safe from the chickens, and they are definitely still lurking around. But while none of them is looking, the platypuses crept up the heart of the arena. The win could be theirs, and they reach for it, but for some reason these water mammals didn't take the prize. We'll see what they're up to. What do you want, Gibbon? Whoa, never mind, he's got moves. Okay, it seems Tooper and Mimi somehow prefers to sleep, and so while they rest up, it made me think whether sleeping is more of a risky calculated strategy to regain energy and hope the chickens don't notice them. Opposite to our tiger Jumpy, who's finally exploring the grounds. Is he being too reckless? Okay, why are you sniffing her, bro? She's grieving. Whoa, how did you do that? But Tanner here is unimpressed. For him, his strong smelling is helping him spot where the chickens are. Another focused competitor, Pilot, is on the side. Quick on his feet, he dodged the chicken and straight into the water, where the Michael emus are similarly using water as a chicken deterrent, because the chickens can't really swim. Kinda like an Enderman. Anyways, our little otter succeeded in evading the chickens and actually got the chance to move up. His never-ending love and sense for rubber duckies is tingling, and just like that, slapped the golden ducky. Pilot the otter, our first official winner. Congratulations for you, Pilot, but for the others, this only angers our chickens. And since one winner is down, they call for 2 more Chicken of Dooms, and one of them is a smaller, darker variant that is quicker. The more agile, like the fossa, needs to start using their nimbleness. chickens, and Logan, who had mastered the way of the waters, as a chicken stalks him on the sideline. With more chickens spreading out through more parts of the arena, it is clear everyone seems more lost or confused, like Tanner here, who doesn't realize the chicken is right behind him, but he moves out of death just in time. Twice, you lucky little wolf. The depressed widow, Cream the Puff, isn't so lucky though, and the chicken of doom got to her. Sorry, proboscis monkeys. Okay, you're gonna have to go down eventually, buddy. But the monkey aren't the only one using the platforms. What insane clever strategy for this. Okay, you jumped into a chicken. Sorry, Lalpi. A mistake that a Michael Emu similarly had, not being able to see a chicken being so tall and, stepping on one. Others, like Sheriff Thice the Kiwi, use the strategy of moving and pretending like it's a chicken, hoping to get ignored by the bloodlusted barn animal. Tanner is really tired. Freshing up by the waters and shaking it off immediately, he was locked in, and so he laid around by the heart of the arena, standing so still but scouting for chickens at the same time. When he sees an opening, he goes for the strike, going up towards the prize, and he got it. The second winner of this arena, Tanner, the very meticulous and careful Timberwolf. It's all worth it in the end. Congratulations. That means one winner left, and now the final phase of the arena will commence. And this is the most gruesome one yet, because increasingly more and more Chicken of Dooms will be entering as time goes on from here, until someone wins or no one is left. Already many close calls are happening, but our racers are still on edge, just to see how ruthless our chickens had become. A chest burster moment here, eliminating some of our sleeping animals. The chickens are everywhere. Our determined cheetah still tries, cutting corners, but there's just always a chicken around it, and so it had to retreat. The Kiwi has been doing the same strategy. Unfortunately for him, the head bobbing got him too close and brushed against a chicken. Goodbye, Sheriff. Jumpy's still sleeping, but this time a chicken is able to sneak up on him. You can try running, but sorry, Jumpy. You know can't Jumpy no more. Logan, did you touch the chicken? Come on, don't lie. Oh no, goodbye, Logan. The chicken has been guarding the ducky very strongly here, but someone's been busy sniffing up the ground and making a mental map of the place. The platypus is sneaking through the barrage of chickens, sliming past unnoticed. It seems sneakily going past the chickens is the way to go. Like the dingo attempted, jumping into the final arena and going up to the prize just like before. But wait, someone else is going up. It's Tupper and Zihiat. They watched out for chickens and the cheetah goes up first. Will she actually win this? Oh no, just missed the ducky by an inch. The army of chickens outside caught on, and the platypuses didn't give them a chance to catch up. Alongside his partner Mimi, Tupper did the unbelievable. The flappy platypus pair won the final champion seats. Wow, look at them showing off to the chickens. I can't believe it. The other fighters put up a good fight, so nice try everyone. The few left will have to wash off until the chickens inevitably get to them. But to our winners, a safe haven is ready for the three of them, and they will live in paradise until they'll be featured in my future Planet Zoo videos. And Tan the tortoise is still on his way. Wow, good luck buddy. Thank you so much for watching.
Keenling.